Hello everyone, my name is Paul Dietrich and welcome to Dietrich Education, where I talk about everything EdTech. And today I'm going to be talking about a website that I made with the help of Google AI Studio called ClassCovered. And a very short story before I jump into this tutorial is why this website came to be. And the story about that is this. There's been so many times when myself or some of our office staff are just annoyed at the a large amount of time it takes to figure out how many subs that we need to cover teachers. If there's teacher absences, or more so if there's like a professional development that's been planned and we're trying to figure out how many substitutes do we need to fully cover a teacher, how many roving subs perhaps do we need, and also how many in-house subs do we need. And that takes too much time. It takes way too long for the amount of time that it actually does take. So I made this hoping to make that process a lot more streamlined and faster. And it's very simple. I'm going to get right into it here. But it's one of those things where you are free to use this. It's absolutely free. Feel free to use it for your school, for your district, spread it around, but have at it. This is, I hope this is something that could really help you in your school. So let's jump right into it. So this is ClassCovered. So if you notice is that on the left side, these are going to be the steps to cover classes, and the big main window right here is called Master Schedule. So this is actually going to be where you're going to see your master schedule up here kind of throughout this process. So the very first thing that we actually need to do is upload your master schedule. Now there's a very specific format. It's very simple, a template that needs to be used. And so you can click on download template. It's a CSV file. It's like a sample that I made. So if you take a look at it's a very generic secondary master schedule. And so there's a little download button up here that you can press. And, to come up with something like this, teacher name, department, and then periods 1 through 6. I'm pretty sure there must be some kind of like Aries query that you can do to kind of pull up this information. So back to the website is once you have your template, you're going to upload the template. So I'm going to click on choose file. And I'm going to click on a template that's already been made. So here it is. My master schedule is now on the board. So the next thing I'm going to do is look at teacher absence setup. So the very first thing is it says default periods of absence. So what this basically means is you're going to tell the website what periods in the day the teachers are going to be absent. So for the duration of this tutorial, I'm just going to use a PD experience that our school had gone through a little while ago. So we have this company that was going to give us professional development, and we needed PD for our both our math and our ELA departments. And so what this company wanted to do was essentially meet with the math department for the first 3 periods of the day, and then meet with our ELA department for the last 3 periods of the day. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on periods 1 through 6, because essentially they're going to be out for all 6 periods. Or at least the 6 periods is what I'm identifying as what teachers are going to be out. So, and also over here where it says departments, I'm going to click on the departments, and this little box down here will actually start populating with teachers, and those teachers that you see in this third box here on the bottom will be dependent on what department you choose. So I'm going to click on 6th grade. So here the teachers are starting to pop up. I also need math and I need ELA. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on all of them here. And I'm going to click on confirm teachers and set absence periods. Now, before I do that, you're going to notice a change as soon as I click on that, a change to the visual master schedule board. It's going to highlight all the teachers that I've selected. So I'm going to click on that. And now our board is highlighted with all the teachers that need coverage. So if they need coverage, it's pretty clear. They show up in red for each of their periods, and it says need coverage. So the next thing I'm going to do is on the left side, I'm going to scroll down some more. And at this point, I'm going to now confirm which periods the teachers will have absences in. So remember, this company wanted to meet with math during the first 3 periods of the day, which means math does not need coverage for the last 3 periods of the day. So I just need to tell the website that. So for example, the first person here listed here, Alan. Alan is down over here, and he's a 6th grade teacher, but for the most part, we'll say like ELA teacher, right? So ELA is going to meet the last half of the day. So he will need coverage during 4th, 5th, and 6th, but he will not need coverage because he's not going to be out of his classroom for periods 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to take out periods 1, 2, and 3. And if you notice, these boxes now update so that he does not need coverage, because he's basically going to be in class for periods 1, 2, and 3, but he will need coverage for periods 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to do the same thing with Young. Young is actually like a math, more or less a math. So Young over here on the left side will be meeting first. So I'm going to take out periods 4, 5, and 6 because he does not need coverage for the last half of the day. So I'm just going to do a quick little bit up here just to kind of show you the example. So let's just say here we just need 1, 2, 3, and this is ELA, so that's Williams, that's 1, 2, 3, and we'll do one more for, let's just do math here, let's do Jones. Where's Jones over here? There's Jones. Okay, so let's say that I have all my teachers kind of, set up that way. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to scroll down, and I run into this question now where it's asking about substitute teachers. So this is kind of the opportunity where if you've had a PD already pre-planned in advance, and you already have certain subs that teachers are going to need. So for example, look at Brown. Brown basically needs coverage for the entire day. So what I can do is over here, I can kind of indicate to the system, to the website, that Brown is already covered, that they have a full day sub. So I'm going to click on Brown, and I can actually name the teacher. So let's just say, or name the substitute teacher. I'm going to say Sean P. So if you notice for Brown now, it's all grayed out, but it says sub Sean P. And let's say maybe for like Miller, maybe Miller has another sub. I'm going to say Monica R. So Monica R is now the sub for the full day for Miller. So that's for like full day subs for a single teacher. For part B here, it's talking about roving subs, because sometimes we have those, right? Now, you don't have to have both of these at the same time, but you might. So let's just say, for example, I need a roving sub where I'm going to put the roving sub, just focusing on the top here. So let's just say I'm going to use one roving sub. This roving sub's name is Janet S. Now I'm going to click on Proceed to Assign Roving Subs. So I click on that, and it's essentially telling me that I need to click on the highlighted box to assign them that specific period. So I'm going to click OK. So I'm going to assign Janet to period 2 math here. And basically what this pop-up box is that I can select the sub. So for 1 is Janet and 0 is just clear, take the sub out. So I'm going to click OK. And if you notice now it says sub Janet. And let's say I'm going to do let's say I'm going to put Janet here as well for Jones, do 1. And now at this point, I might actually think, no, I might want to put Janet for Smith instead. And so what I can do is actually I can click on Smith's period 3, click on Janet again, but this time it's going to tell me a little bit of an error. Well, not an error, but it's like a little notification. It's going to say, just letting you know, Janet is already here. Are you sure? Do you want to put her in this class period instead? So if you hit OK, Janet gets placed in this new spot for period 3, and Jones still needs coverage. So I'm just going to put Janet in for the rest of the periods up on top. Then I click on Finalize External Subs and proceed to In-House. And scrolling down here, this is the part now where it kind of gets interesting. So now that if you look at the visual master schedule, we have the roving sub in place, which is in yellow. We have the gray full day length sub for each individual teacher, but we still have places now where it's still red, right? Now the next part here is part 4. So it's manual in-house assignment. So there's 4 options basically for every teacher. So if you look at, actually let's look at this teacher here. It says Jones D. So let me go over here down to Jones D. Jones D still needs coverage for period 3. And in this case, there's basically like 3 options for every teacher. There is none, which means that there's going to be no one's going to be put into that class period. It's just going to stay as needs coverage. So sometimes if an administrator is going to go in there or somebody else is going to go into there, that keeps that as needs coverage. The other option is automatic. So automatic means is that the website is going to take the very first person who has prepped that period and put them into that spot. So for example, in Jones D Math 7, it's going to default to Wilson C automatically. That's if we choose the automatic option. But if you look here for Jones D, it does show Wilson C, but it also shows 3 other teachers that have prep also during period 3. So you can actually go in, instead of saying automatically, I can go in and maybe click on Hall because they have a prep that period. Maybe in Wilson did it last week or something like that. So, but if you notice, once you hit Hall, what the system will also do, let me scroll down here, is it's grayed out Hall and any other subsequent teachers, because Hall's already been taken. So it'll grade that person out if they're not available that period because you've already selected them. So I'm just going to kind of randomly select a few here, but then otherwise I'm just going to keep everything on automatic. So I'm just going to leave everything else on automatic and scroll down to the bottom where I'm going to click on Cover Classes. And here I go. So all the teachers at the top, they are fully covered. There's a couple teachers at the bottom that still need coverage. Now I'm just going to leave them just like that. If I scroll down here, and I'm leaving them there for a reason. I'm going to show you why. But here's a detailed scenario. So like we're at the very tail end of this here. This page shows a summary of all the teachers that are absent and which class periods are effective. So it shows like Alan, and here's Alan is absent for these periods here, and here's Brown, and they're absent for these periods here. It also shows how many subs were used in total, and also the breakdown for coverage. So coverage for Alan, it shows these two teachers covering for him, and it does it for every single teacher. Now at the very, very end, I still have the option of adding an additional full day sub for a dedicated sub for a teacher, or I can add an additional roving sub, but I'm just going to leave that there for right now because I want to show you the print your covered classes. So as soon as I click this button, it's going to open up a brand new window, and I'm going to be given a window with a summary of everything plus the option to print. So I click on this, my window comes up, and if you can see here, I have my master schedule, and it's already pre-color coded and everything like that, where it shows all of my subs going to different periods. It shows the periods that still need coverage, and that's the visual master schedule. And what I can do now is scroll down, and actually it shows me now, here's my coverage summary. Here's all the absent teacher details. So these guys right here are all the teachers that are absent, but it gives me all the class periods that are being covered for them. So Brown has a sub covering all of his classes, but for example, King has different in-house teachers that are subbing for him. So it does that for all your teachers. Then it goes down into external substitutes. So these are all of the subs and their assignments. And then further down is here's all the in-house subs, the internal staff coverage and their assignments. And then at the very bottom, this is why I left it as needs coverage. This one still shows which teachers or which classes still need coverage. So what I can do at the very last thing at the top is I can print this page, and I can go in now and I can actually print this thing, and I can change the margins, and I can fix this on the printer side of things. But it just gives you something that's very simple, easy to print, and you can share it with your school secretaries, your teachers that are being affected, and it just makes things so much more neat and organized, and more importantly, just very fast and efficient to plan. But that is ClassCovered. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and feel free to spread it around. Feel free to, when you use this, please give me feedback. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm hoping to actually see if I can even finagle this to somehow include elementary schedules. I have to think about that one. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.